the Voting Rights Act and the Supreme Court argument today. I know there's a lot of concern on the left, a lot of concern among Democrats that essentially if the rest of the Voting Rights Act gets gutted, that this is going to be an automatic win for Republicans in sort of remapping of congressional seats and an automatic loss for Democrats. I'm not so sure. I'm old enough. My first professional year covering American politics was the 92 campaign. That was a year of brand new districts. And at the time, the Bush 41 Justice Department worked pretty closely with the Congressional Black Caucus to interpret the Voting Rights Act in such a way to essentially try to create as many majority African-American seats as they could in the South. And the reason this was one of those, the Congressional Black Caucus wanted to increase its ranks, and the Bush 41 Justice Department wanted to pack more Democrats into fewer districts. What would that do? So one of my favorite examples at the time, there was 11 congressional districts in Georgia at the time. In 1990, Democrats had 8 Democratic House seats and Republicans had 3. By 1992, in January of 93, I believe it went from 8. It literally was 8-3 again, 8 Republican seats and 3 Democratic seats. And I believe all 3 Democratic seats were majority African-American, or at least plurality African-American. So I'm not so sure that this, again, everybody thinks they understand how easily they can crack and pack districts, do the hub and spoke model as we've seen, but this idea that if you don't have to do a majority African-American district, that this is automatically going to help. If more Democratic vote gets dispersed to more congressional districts in a given geographic area, you may see a lot more swing seats in the Sun Belt. This may be a lot harder to gerrymander than many folks are thinking today. So look, a few things to keep in mind with this Supreme Court argument. It does seem as if Roberts and Kavanaugh are looking to put an end date to the Voting Rights Act on Section 2. What does that end date look like? It's at the end of this decade, right? Is it a review in another 4 years? Is it throwing it back to Congress to come up with an end date? That's something else. They're very good at punting, particularly Roberts and Kavanaugh. They do like to sort of see if they can come up with an extraordinarily narrow ruling. I can tell you this. I don't think John Roberts wants to be feeling as if he is deciding the midterm elections. So I anticipate this is going to be narrow. But another thing to keep in mind, if this ruling comes out when most Supreme Court rulings come out, which is late June, early July, and it does have these dramatic changes into it, it's not going to impact 2026. It's just there'll be too many filing deadlines will have passed. You won't be able to see that. This probably is more likely to impact 2028. And frankly, is more likely, you could even see in that this will apply to the next census, to the next reapportionment, which would take place, the census in 2030 and the next reapportionment in 2031. So keep in mind those deadlines, and like I said, I'm not as convinced that this is as clean of a political victory for the right. Now, there may be other issues. Representation may go down. Those are serious issues that we need to have a conversation about. But if you're just playing a numbers game here, I'm not sure this is going to be as damaging to the Democrats or as helpful to the Republicans as a lot of what I would say the cheap commentary has come. There's just so much of our reporting and commentary just comes from, does this help the left? Does this hurt the left? Does this help the right? Does this hurt the right? And, sometimes you just don't know. You can have a larger conversation about whether, do we need this anymore? Do we not need this? Are we going to have disenfranchisement of African-American voters and of African-American representation, which was the whole point of the Voting Rights Act? That needs to be the conversation that's had. Everybody is trying to apply it to gerrymandering and redistricting. I just want to tell you, if you just looked at it through the data lens, this isn't as clean as the commentary is making it seem.
There's a reason results matter more than promises. just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan has become America's largest injury law firm. For the last 35 years, they've recovered $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients. It includes cases where insurance companies offered next to nothing, short of shortchanging, seeing if they could get away with it. And Morgan & Morgan fought back, and they won millions. In Pennsylvania, one client was awarded $26 million. It was a staggering 40 times the amount that the insurance company originally offered. That offer, $650,000, whatever it took to sort of get away without paying. So with more than 1,000 lawyers across the country, Morgan & Morgan knows how to deliver for everyday people. So if you're injured, you're looking for a lawyer, check out forthepeople.com/ToddCast or dial pound law, pound 529 on your cell phone. And remember, all law firms are not the same. So give Morgan & Morgan a look. Their fee is free unless they win.